Welcome to Don Bosco in a Year podcast.
Day 39. The Hand of the Lord, the Oratory at St. Martin of the Mills. Our chapel beside St. Philomena's Hospital was coming along nicely. On feast days, youngsters came in big numbers to make their confessions and go to communion. After Mass, there was a short explanation of the Gospel. In the afternoon, we had catechism lessons, hymn singing, a short instruction, the litany of Our Lady, and benediction. Various intervals were filled with games and amusements which took place in the alley which still runs between the convent of the Little Magdalene and the public road. We spent 7 months there. We thought that we had found heaven on earth. Then we had to leave our beloved asylum and go to look for another. Marchioness Barolo, though she cast a kindly eye on every charitable work, still, as the opening of her little hospital approached, it opened on 10th August 1845, wanted our oratory far away before then. It is true that the area we had been using had no internal communication with what was to be the chapel, the school, or the recreation center. Even the shutters were fixed in place and turned upwards. Nonetheless, we had to obey. We positively pestered the municipal government of Turin. Through the kind offices of Archbishop Fransoni, we were allowed to move our oratory to the church of St. Martin of the Mills, or rather to the public mills. Imagine us then, on a July Sunday in 1845, making our way laden with benches, kneelers, candlesticks, some chairs, crucifixes, and pictures large and small. Everyone carried some object suited to his strength. We must have looked like emigrants on the move. With laughter and din and misgivings, we marched out to establish our headquarters in the place just indicated. Dr. Borelli gave an appropriate talk before we set out and another when we arrived at our new church. That worthy minister of the sanctuary, who enjoyed a popularity more unique than rare, spoke these thoughts. My dear boys, cabbages never form a big, beautiful head unless they are transplanted. The same is true for our oratory. So far, it has been moved from one place to another many times. But in the different places where it has stopped, it has always grown bigger with no little advantage to the boys involved. We hope we'll be there for a long time. But however long we stay, we believe that, like transplanted cabbages, our oratory will grow in the number of boys who love virtue, will increase their desire for music, singing, evening classes, and even day courses. Will we be here long then? We mustn't let this thought worry us. Let's throw all our worries into the Lord's hands. He'll take care of us. It's certain that He blesses us and provides for us. He'll show us a good place for contributing to His glory and the good of our souls. An immense crowd of youngsters attended that solemn ceremony, and a Te Deum of thanksgiving was sung with the greatest emotion. We carried out our religious devotions as we had at the refuge, though we could not celebrate Mass or give benediction in the evening. This meant that the boys could not receive communion, which is the fundamental element to our institution. Even our recreation were often disturbed, broken up because the lads were forced to play in the street and in the little square in front of the church, where a constant stream of people on foot, carts, horses, and carriages passed by. Since we had nothing better, we thanked heaven for what we had been given and hoped for some better spot. But fresh problems fell upon us. The millers, their apprentices, and other employees could not put up with the jumping, the singing, and the occasional shouting of our pupils. They grew alarmed and agreed to lodge a complaint with the municipal government. Without any foundation, it was added that the kids were doing untold damage in the church, outside the church, on the pavement. It seemed that if we continued meeting there, Turin must be ruined. Though the mayor was convinced that these charges were unfounded, he wrote a stiff letter ordering us to take our oratory elsewhere at once. General disappointment, useless sighing. We had to go. It is worth noting, however, that the secretary, author of that famous letter, never wrote anything else. He was suddenly stricken by an uncontrollable shake in his right hand. Within 3 years, he was dead. For reflection, the transplanted cabbage, do you have such a positive attitude towards the hindrances that come your way in doing things for the glory of God? Don Bosco or Father Borivali, they had it clear in their mind that they were doing all that they were doing for the greater glory of God. How strong is that motivation in you? The scene of the band of boys loaded with benches and equipments on the roads. How much do you develop the sense of belonging and a sense of ownership in the minds of the young with whom you work?
Thank you for joining us today on this journey to know Don Bosco. May these reflections deepen our faith, guide us closer to God each day, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Till then, keep seeking, keep praying, keep growing.